This will now be a 5-minute, 210, same material we've been doing here. I am Mr. Graham for the plaintiff.
I am the witness.
I am the court.
I'm defense attorney, Mr. Cole.
Okay, 15's on the record. Starting on that page 9, line 27. Now, at the conclusion of your conversation, that meeting in your office, was Mr. Trevesh informed that a complaint would be filed?
Yes, the last time I talked with him, I believe in our last phone conversation, I told him that a complaint would be filed. He asked if we would look at the certain photographs. I told him that we certainly would, and I did not change my statement after seeing those. In fact, I believe I told him quite frankly then that our position had not changed.
Now, do you recall the approximate date of that meeting?
I did not put it on my calendar. I think it was between the 15th and 20th of November, in the latter part of November, sometime before we actually filed the written criminal complaint.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Mr. Ritchie, how long have you been with the district attorney's office?
Just over 6 years.
You are supervisor in charge of the misdemeanor division, is that correct?
That's correct.
You supervise a number of other deputy district attorneys, I take it?
Correct.
And is it your personal responsibility to handle potential manslaughter cases?
I handle certain ones. I review all the manslaughter cases that come into the office.
When you say you review, what do you mean by that?
I log the fact that the case has been filed and that it may be in another office for investigatory follow-up, including the office of the agency that actually investigated the case.
Do you normally customarily issue the complaints yourself? Is that your normal responsibility?
Sometimes I do. Other times, other attorneys in the office will review the case and issue it at my request or review it for issuance.
Well, is the determination of whether or not charges are going to be filed, is that your responsibility in manslaughter
In
cases?
some cases, it is yes.
And in others, it is not?
Correct.
And what would be the criteria for determining whether it's going to be your responsibility or some subordinate's responsibility?
Who is assigned to do it?
And did somebody assign you to do this?
No, but I may assign someone else to review it for consideration for issuance.
I see. So you receive all of them. Some of them you delegate out and some you retain yourself?
That's correct.
And how do you make the determination as to whether or not you're going to retain that responsibility yourself?
It's a matter of time allocation. How much time is available usually
Available to you?
to me?
Apparently, in this case, it was ultimately your personal determination to file a complaint, file charges?
No, a number of people reviewed this particular case.
Number of attorneys?
Number of attorneys, yes.
Your subordinates or your supervisors?
Both.
What superiors? Did you submit something to superior asking for recommendations?
Yes, I did.
What superior?
Your Honor, I can get into all this, but I think it's irrelevant, and I'd say that
Answer the question, please.
Al Girolami.
Any others?
I don't recall any others.
Who is Al Girolami?
He's the Chief Deputy District Attorney.
Did the fact that you retained this file to make the ultimate determination, did that have anything to do with the seriousness of the offense or anything like that?
No,
Objection, Your Honor, it's not relevant.
Sustained.
On manslaughter cases, misdemeanor manslaughter cases, do you normally submit those to the chief deputy for his advice and consent?
Objection, Your Honor, that's not relevant.
What's the relevancy, Mr. Cole?
Your Honor, I'm trying to find out whether or not this is the case that was treated as a case of prime importance by the district attorney. I intend to get into, in further questioning, into questions regarding what steps were taken to preserve the evidence.
I don't think that's relevant on the issue of the preservation of the evidence.
I'll overrule the objection at this time, but if you start getting too far afield, Mr. Cole, I'll tell you.
would you repeat the question, please?
Ms. Reporter, would you read the question, please?
On occasion, I do, yes.
More usually you do not?
I couldn't give you a statistical breakdown. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, and I don't know. I couldn't give you a breakdown.
Are there statistics kept in your office with regard to how often you do that sort of thing?
I'm not aware of any, no.
Was there any particular reason why you submitted this particular file to Mr. Girolami for his review?
In my judgment, it needed the review of another person.
There's no procedure in the district attorney's office regarding you to do that step, I take it?
There's no procedure, that's correct.
You have the authority, presumably, with your position, to issue complaints if you think they're justified,
That's correct.
and you also delegate the same authority to your subordinates.
That's also correct.
Now, when did you first become aware of the accident on Highway 33?
Objection, Your Honor, it's not relevant, I don't believe.
Overruled.
Approximately a week after the accident occurred. I don't have a precise date in mind.
And did you become aware of it because of reports that were submitted to you?
I don't recall whether it was a report, written report, or a verbal one. It was one or the other, however.
How soon after the accident were written reports available to you?
I believe the initial written reports were available within 10 days of the accident.
And when were you first contacted by Mr. Tabesh?
Again, I don't log the date. My best recollection is in the early to middle part of October 1978.
How long after the accident would that have been?
The accident, I believe, was in the last week of September.
Your Honor, I believe we stipulated that the date was 9/27/78.
That's the date stated on the complaint.
Again, the question was, Your Honor, I've lost the question.
I think you've answered it.
I think you've answered it. The first contact with Mr. Drabesh was mid-October. Now, at that point, had you received all the reports that you needed, or were you at that point asking for further investigation?
Okay, those are 5 minutes. We're going to move on now to other material. And that's our speed push for the day. Okay, we have 5 minutes to warm up from this, which we'll read in 15s, and this is also the material that will be our, really our only 200 take today. I will also read a CSR, past CSR, but this is, for those of you who need this, this would be the only one you could transcribe today. And we have Mr. Kinney. I am Mr. Kinney for the people.
I'm the witness.
I am the court.
I'm attorney for defense, Mr. Thompson.
And we're going to do the first 5 minutes in 15s. Well, I have to end this and you start.